In the heart of a dense forest, where trees graze the sky and dense shadows loom, there existed an old cemetery known as the Graveyard of Forgotten Souls. It was said that this cemetery had been built hundreds of years ago, and the souls of the dead within it never found peace. Instead, they spent their nights wandering among the graves, searching for tranquility, but it remained elusive. The cemetery was surrounded by barbed wire, wrapped around by massive trees with twisted branches. The air exhaled through ancient cotton bales with whispering sounds, while the ground beneath was covered with dark, damp grass, as if hiding secrets that could never be uncovered. As night fell, ghosts appeared strangely, dancing between the graves in torn clothes, with disfigured faces, their eyes glowing with a strange blaze, inflicting a stab of terror on anyone who saw them. Near this cemetery, there stood an old house inhabited by a small family, known as the Fahd family. The house was a short distance from the cemetery, but it harbored dark secrets within its walls. The family lived in constant fear, with children hearing screams and cries rising from within the cemetery each night, and feeling cold breezes pass over them like the breaths of the dead. But the most terrifying incident occurred when the father attempted to go out at night to fetch some firewood. He ventured out, pulled as if by an unseen force towards the cemetery, running like a madman through the narrow path leading to it. As he approached the graves, he heard strange whispers calling his name. When he looked back, he saw the dead rising from their graves, their eyes shining with icy coldness and shattering minds. Mustering his courage, he ran back home, but something had happened to him that night. Since that night, the father was never the same. He became silent, lost in his thoughts, as if the spirits had taken part of his soul. As days passed, the horrifying sounds in the dead of night grew louder, with children closing their ears and hiding under the covers, while the mother wept in the corner, reflecting the fear surrounding them. On a pitch-black night, the screams from the cemetery returned, accompanied by a moan like the echo of pain. The mother decided to observe. She crept towards the window and saw the shadows of the dead dancing in the moonlight, extending their hands and sending their icy gazes towards their home. A wave of terror took over, and deep down, the mother knew they wanted nothing more than to take her to their dark world. The story unfolds over several nights, with the atmosphere intensifying, as each night the serenades dissipate, and the voices of the dead complete. Eventually, the memories of these ghosts descend upon the Fahd family home in an unexpected manner, causing events to collapse upon the family, with each member being dragged into the unknown darkness of that frightening cemetery. And thus the cemetery remains there, bearing within its folds muffled screams and painful memories, where stories are no longer written but hidden under cold chambers, leaving the dead in an endless search for someone to join them in their dark world. With this, the story ends, leaving neighboring residents with fear and pain, and the cemetery continues to pulse with the secrets of the dead, feared even by the embrace of the moon.